Hello, Highlander parents and families. Welcome to our 2019-2020 Boys Basketball Virtual Banquet. My name is Toby Tryon, and I'm your booster president. Coach R asked me to do a quick introduction to open the ceremony this year, and I'd like to start by thanking you all for being so flexible during these difficult times. The banquet is truly one of my favorite events. We get to be together to celebrate all these young men and what they've achieved. But I do think this video does give them something to look forward to and something to see and something for posterity. I'd like to start and take a little time to thank some of the key players in the program. And the first ones out of the gate would be the coaches. And these men work very hard trying to help shape the boys who start the program into the men that leave. I know that this has become a year-round program and they're not compensated nearly as much as they should be. They take time away from their families to help our sons, and for that we thank you. I'd also like to thank some of the board members who give so much of their time. Our vice presidents, Monica Hernandez, who does our fundraising, and Brian Hooper, who does our membership and most of our technical needs. I'd like to thank Nicole Owen, who keeps the books and makes sure we have everything categorized and accounted for. And I'd like to thank Lisa DeBruin for stepping in about mid-year to take over the secretary duties and for all the things she does during the year also. Our team parents, the team reps, Michelle Howen, Nicole Owen, Lisa DeBruin, and Kelly Katayama. These were the people that were responsible for putting together all the team building events that happened during the year. And I know those can be difficult because there are so many different the scheduling issues and whatever, but thank you guys for all your diligence in getting all that done. And finally, I'd like to thank Paul Luna. Paul oversees our social media and photography, but he truly does everything. I've never met a person who just doesn't have "I can't do it" in his vocabulary. Paul makes things happen. He produced our media guide, made banners, constantly gives valuable advice and insight, and attends every booster meeting, even though his son graduated a couple of years ago. And I don't believe he does this for any other sport. And I just wanted to thank him for doing it for hours. And thank you. So before I turn this over to the coaches, I was asked to deliver probably the most important award for our program. And when we send our sons to school each day, our overall goal is to make them the best student and then the best athlete. So here's a presentation of our program's Scholar Athlete Awards for the 2019-2020 school year. As you can see, we have a long list of students who excel in both the classroom and the court. These young men have found a way to balance their time and turn challenges into successes. I sometimes hear comments from people about they worry about our future. And from what I can see, there's nothing to worry about. Our community has the best young people that the nation has to offer. Thank you to everyone for your time and commitment over this year. I feel truly blessed to be part of this program. With that said, I'll now turn it over to Coach Reichenberg.
Hello, and welcome to the 2019-2020 La Habra Boys Basketball Banquet. Obviously, the circumstances call for a different setting this year. Miss you all, missing the opportunity to celebrate together all the hard work our boys, coaches, and parents put in all year, but we'll make the best of it. Thankful for the opportunity to be motivated to finally shave my head and get out of sweatpants for the first time in a month. As you watch this, you'll notice some of the coaches wearing hats. I've noticed some of our players not showing their face on Zoom because they haven't been to Supercuts or Fantastic Sam's in a couple weeks. Well, who's making ball jokes now? Huh? Looking smooth. Anyways, on to the banquet. We're going to start with some thank yous. The first name that comes to mind as I'm filming this and getting ready to send this video off to the amazing Paul Luna. As you guys watch this, I hope you understand that your coaches filmed these videos. Great. Took a little time to do that, but the reason it looks so nice and all put together is, as usual, because of the brilliant Paul Luna. All he does for our program, all he does for our campus, I am so thankful for him. Our students are so thankful for him. You know, he's at not just every basketball event, but every La Habra High School event. And he's showcasing our students constantly, and just giving so much energy and passion to our kids. So thank you, Paul, for all that you do. Got a lot of thank yous to give out, and that's because of the culture that we have. I talk about we culture all the time, and I'm thankful that our program has bought into that. Because of the buy-in, we are all part of one of the most successful programs in the county. Can't argue it. 3 years straight where you have your varsity team winning 20 or more games. 3 years straight where your varsity team finished second or better in the Freeway League. 3 years straight where your varsity team is going to at least the second round of CIF and in one of the tougher divisions there are. And 3 years straight where we're voted in the top 20 in the county by the OC Register. So you can't argue it. We are one of the most successful programs there are, and that is because of the culture that we have. And I'm so thankful for all of you buying into that, our players, our coaches, and our parents. I got some specific parents to speak about, but I want to thank all of you for the time that you give towards fundraising. We need that year round for our players to be successful. We need the fundraising. We need our parents volunteering to be at the door, be at the snack stand during our summer league and during our tournaments. We need our parents to do their part for summer payments so that we can pay for all these games and tournaments during spring, summer, and fall that the school doesn't offer us financial assistance on. That's thousands of dollars that we have to pay so that our boys can get that extra work to be ready for the season and develop over the 4 years. So thank you for that. Thank you for making sure that our boys stick with the commitment that they've made to their coaches and teammates. Thank you for reinforcing that our players need to be at their practices and their games throughout the year. Thank you for rooting for the entire team. Thank you for, not just coming to games, rooting on just your boy, but rooting on the entire team in whatever role he's filling. We are so lucky to have parents who are in the stands, not just rooting for their boys' minutes or shots or points. They're just cheering on the team and understanding that we are one of the best programs in the county. So if their boys on that team, they're proud of it, and they are filling a role. Whether it's the leading scorer, the best defensive player, a starter, a guy off the bench, or a guy who doesn't play much, every single player plays a role. Excuse me. The guy who doesn't play much, he's pushing us in practice. He's pushing to get better in practice. He's pushing his teammates to get better. He's pushing the starters so that they're prepared for games. The culture that we have creates our success, and I thank you for buying in on that. Our coaches who buy in on that. The time that they give throughout the year. Thank you so much, coaches. I firmly believe we have the best staff in the county. Our lower level coaches, Coach Anthony, Coach Stanford, our freshman coaches who won league this year. Coach Anthony, a great way to go out. This is his last year, in case you didn't know. And I totally understand. He's got to focus on work. It's so much time that we give towards his coaching. So I really appreciate all you've given us the past 2 seasons. And what a way to go out. Congrats on the league championship. Coach Ibarra, Coach Canes, Coach Baresh, our sophomore and JV coaches. All our lower level coaches give their time to all of our players. It's not just their team. They'll take any player in to develop them and work with them, and they do it throughout the year. And I'm just so thankful for it, because by the time they get to me in varsity, they're ready because of our guys developing. Our lower levels finished obviously first in league for our freshmen, second for our sophomore, and third JV. So top 3 finishes for all of our lower levels. Thank you so much, coaches. My co-head coaches, Coach Nick, Coach Barry, thank you for all you do. 2 of my best friends. I'm so lucky to have you guys. What you guys bring on the offensive end, what you guys bring for relationships with our players. Our program's just so lucky to have you guys and the sacrifice that you guys make. Coaches, significant others, girlfriends, wives, thank you. What an amazing sacrifice that you guys make to let us, follow our passion, holding it down at home, doing all that you do. Those of us that have little ones at home, just thank you for letting us follow this passion of ours and work with these boys. As most of you probably know, coaching is like a second job, although it's volunteer work with the hours we put in and the amount that the stipend pays. So we do it out of love and passion for the sport and developing young men, and our wives have to be bought in on that, and our wives and girlfriends are. So thank you. Special thank you out to my wife, Shelly. Quite her hands full with a toddler this year, and the blessing that we have in Macy, and that will be ×2 next season as we are awaiting our boy in a couple weeks here. Very excited for that. But thank you so much for all your encouragement and all that you do. Back to our parents, and throwing some specifics out there. Hold on for just a second as I get my notes, because I don't want to miss anybody, although I could go on forever with some of the names. Some specific parents who are at all our booster meetings, were always volunteering. I could go on and on with parents, but some specific parents: Liz, Mary, Jackie, Lisa, Betty, Elvira, and Mia. Thank you so much, not just for all your time and all the work that you do, but also you're just like a coach's wife in that sense, because your husband gives so much time to our program. So thank you for holding it down and sacrificing. and letting him help us out. All that he does as our head honcho. Our team parents, Kelly, Lisa, Nicole, Michelle, thank you for all you do and all the communication and scheduling that you do with our teams, and our booster board. Lisa DeBruin, our secretary, Brian Hooper, our vice president of membership and technology, Nicole Owen, our treasurer, 3 years running. What an incredible job she does, and just such a joy to work with. Monica Hernandez, our vice president of fundraising. Give you some background. I could go on about Monica for a while, but I'll just give you this background. I mean, her son's not even in the program. He graduated 3 years ago. He was a senior when I first took over 3 years ago. An incredible young man, but graduated, and you would think I wouldn't be surprised if she wanted to step away after that, but so selfless, stuck with it, and I'm going to try to keep her as long as I can, because she's just amazing. I mean, she always is organizing great ideas for our fundraisers, and has put our program in such a good standing. And then our president, our head honcho, Toby. Thank you so much. You're just such a joy to work with, such a great guy. The energy that you give to our program, it's unbelievable. In your second year, you've really hit a groove, and we're just so lucky to have you. There's other programs out there where coaches have to put so much time into all the other things like fundraising, that their energy gets sucked away a little bit from basketball. You guys allow us to focus on the boys and focus on the game, and because of that, we are successful. So thank you so much, parents, boosters, our president. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And now on to our season.
Hello to everybody watching, and welcome to our video banquet. I want to start off by giving a big shout out and a big thank you to Paul Luna for putting all these videos together. Next up, I want to thank all the parents and family members of the team that we have here, all the guys we have here at the program. We couldn't do any things we do without you guys, and all the time you put in volunteering at the snack shack, and all the stuff like that. Volunteering for us was a big help for being able to run tournaments and getting you guys to games and practices, so thank you to you. Next up, I want to shout out and give a big thanks to the staff we have here. We have great staff here at La Habra. Coach Chris, Coach Josh, Coach Bobby, Coach Aaron, Nick and Evan. You guys have really I've been able to look up to you guys and be able to pick from you guys, any basketball advice I need. You guys have been there for me. So a big thank you to you guys. I couldn't have been successful without you guys being able to be there and, setting the roots in what we're trying to establish here as a program at La Habra. Next up, I want to give a big shout out to my assistant coach, Coach Jesse. I look up to that man right there. He's a great man, great personality. If you ever met him, you'd know that he's hilarious, great guy. So big shout out to him. Love you, man. Next up, my team, my guys, all you guys. We couldn't have been successful this year without you. All of you guys. So any part, whatever role you played this year, big thank you to you. We couldn't have been successful without you. Big shout out to Coach R and the program he's had here for the last couple years. He's really been able to help get the program to where La Habra's, deserves to be. So big shout out to him, and where he's taking the program, it's in great hands. As far as the freshman team this year, they had a great overall season as a freshman team. I believe we had a 15-11 overall record. So if you could get above 500 for a freshman team, I think that's pretty good, because they're all learning as a group together, playing high school basketball for the first time together. So I believe that's a really successful season. We had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of growth goes in the freshman year. So, typical freshman things. So it was an honor and a privilege to be a part of that. It's always great working with the freshmen, because you got to put in that extra time and, really try to make them be able to see the potential in themselves that you see and the rest of the coaches see. So it's really an honor to be a part of that. These guys worked really hard to accomplish what they accomplished this year as co-league champions with an 8-2 league record. That's really something that they could take with them in the next couple years, and hopefully, make them strive and thrive to want to get that league championship again for the next level. So big thank you to you guys for getting me my first league champion as a coach, league championship. That's a big accomplishment as a coach. Not a lot of coaches can, say that they have that. So thank you to you guys. I'll always remember you guys. Big shout out to my team from last year. I look forward to seeing you guys grow to the next level. It was fun watching you guys this year. Anytime I can make it away from my games and see you guys is always a fun opportunity to be able to see your guys' growth from when I first met you guys. So I look forward to seeing you guys grow for the next 2 years. Thank you to everybody watching, and I hope you guys stay safe in this crazy time and follow whatever the rules are, and hopefully we can get through this, and I hope to see you guys on the court soon. Hopefully we can have a nice pick-up game once this is all over. This player is a very crucial part of the team. Every team needs one of these kind of guys that's willing to show up every day at practice, committed to the team, ready to work hard every day, get guys committed to showing up and really working hard. A big part of our program is being able to echo and count as a team and stuff like that. So doing the little things that you can pick up at practice and stuff, really helps as a coach, being able to have that kind of player. Our better everyday player, Victor Ibarra. We couldn't have had all the success we had this year without this player. This young man grew a lot as a player this year, could do a lot of different things, a wide variety skill set. He could guard the guards, guard the bigs, shoot the three if you ask him, dribble the ball if you ask him to, dominates the paint, holds down the middle of our zone. Had a lot of great games scoring the ball as well. Could really score the ball if you ask him to, need him to. Very coachable. Anything you need to do, anything you need from him, he could do. He could adjust to it. Our Defensive Player of the Year, Tyler Johnson. Last but not least, this young man was a big part of our team. As a team, you thrive together, but you have to be pushed by some players that carry a little bit more load. So this guy really did a lot. We asked a lot of him. Some games he only got a couple minutes of rest, but he's conditioned for that. He works really hard, puts in a lot of hard work outside the gym. Outside the time that we have. A two-sport athlete. Really committed to La Habra, committed to getting better, committed to becoming a beast. He's already a beast, and he's going to be a beast the next 3 years. Had a season high 24 points in an overtime win at Troy this year. Our MVP, Braden Simonian.
Hello, Highlander family. I hope you guys are all holding up well during these difficult times. My name is Coach Chris Ibarra, and I coach the La Habra sophomore team. Now, before I reflect on our past season, I would just like to go ahead and thank you parents and players. Parents, for taking your kids to every practice, to games, and even volunteering your time, whether it be tournaments or home league games. And players, your relentless devotion to this program, to believing in your coaches, and believing in a we culture. It was truly a pleasure to see how hard you guys worked this season. I know that none of the success that we had this season is possible without your contributions and sacrifices. Now, we culture. We culture is being for each other, being as one, being a team, and maintaining achievement collectively as a whole unit. Now, I'm amazed at the matureness and the sense of responsibility this has brought to our program, carried out day in and day out by every single one of our players in the program, especially our varsity boys. You've done a truly tremendous job at creating a stigma that has branched down to your lower level teammates, something that's brought them a sense of community, a brotherhood. This season, I've got to coach the sophomores for the 5th time in my 8-year tenure at La Habra High School. And one thing I've learned about myself and about being a lower level coach is that I have more of a responsibility. I have a responsibility to get these guys into believing in our program, believing in our principles that we hold dear to us, and getting them ready for the next level, whether that be JV or varsity. Now, I put extensive amount of pride and effort into my work. I try to guide my players to be the best that they can be, not only on the court, but also off the court. I feel like our program, as well as our coaches, are set up well to do a phenomenal job moving forward in the future. And we've done an amazing job of balancing out every single level and being able to compete in this tough Southern Section and Freeway League. And now, the journey. Our season opened up with a friendly against Canyon High School. Unfortunately, it would be one of the more forgettable games I ever had as a coach and as a player. We were defeated by 40 plus points. Granted, we only had 6 of our 12 players suited up that day. And a lot of players had to step up and play roles that they've never played before. I remember looking into our boys' eyes in the huddle after the game. Defeated, disappointed, very understandable. I felt the same way. I felt like I let my players down and they weren't prepared for it. But I remember sharing a moment with the boys, a defining moment in our very first game of the season. I remember looking into their eyes and letting them know that this is going to be the low mark of our season, that this was not going to define us, that we were going to grow from this and we were going to grow together. Tomorrow is a new day. With low spirits and optimism going into our next week, we worked our butts off ahead of our home tournament. We were finally at full force and clicking. Finished 2-2 in our very highly competitive home freshman tournament. That definitely lifted the spirits of our players, and you could see glimpses of the game in the games of the potential that we had as a team. We later on entered 2 additional tournaments, the Downey tournament and the West Covina JV tournament. Both also very highly competitive with excellent teams. We would end up leaving both of those tournaments with a record of 2-6. Now on paper, that shows that we didn't fare too well. But unless you were there, you've seen how competitive we were at those games. We faced many challenges and dealt with much adversity, especially competing against the bigger bodies at the JV tournament. But in every game, we had moments and spurts of really dominant basketball, playing together, competing against the other team. We proved that we belonged on the court with those guys. Players stepped up in roles that I didn't think that they were capable of doing, and they made me really proud. When league arrived, we flipped the switch. It was something I hadn't seen before, never in my 8 years of coaching. The players' faces, how they carried themselves, their whole demeanor changed. We had a high energy on defense. Our offense was clicking, and we ran plays efficiently. All the hardships and all the stress that we endured during the preseason proved to be the fuel to our hunger that we played with the remainder of the season. We jumped off to a hot 3-0 start in league. Everything was business. But the beauty of it is that we're doing it while having fun, which is always a dream situation for a coach because it makes our job much easier. Our first defeat in league that kind of brought us down to earth was a heartbreaking buzzer beater against Troy. Another tough battle that was just a stem of what was a very testing season. We would ultimately finish league 7-3 and as a second place team. At 11-13 overall, you could look at it as a losing season, but it wasn't to me. Of the 13 losses, roughly 7 of them were defeats of 3 points or less. Just heartbreaking to hear, and it makes me cringe to this day. I still think about what I could have done better as a coach to get my boys more prepared and help them succeed. But like every difficult time, you take it with a grain of salt. I am grateful of the journey that we shared this season. We learned a lot about what it is to be humble. We hurt together and we celebrated together. There wouldn't be any other group of guys I would have wanted to coach this season. My players know I'll go to hell and back for them, no matter what. They know how animated I get on the sideline, how animated I get and angry I get in the locker room. But still, every day they woke up and they came to me, believed in me, and worked hard for me. I know I'm not the easiest coach to be under, but I appreciate all of you guys for accepting the challenge and showing up every day and working your butts off. My heart is so full. I love you guys, and I miss you guys so much. And now onto my awards. This year I've chosen to give out the Defensive MVP, the Better Everyday Award, and the Most Valuable Player. I would like to first congratulate Ian Brandoni on my Defensive MVP. It was Ian's first year playing in this program, but it looked like he didn't miss a beat at all. He plays with extreme heart and constantly asks questions, especially on his positioning and responsibilities on the defensive end, which is very rare nowadays. It worked out for him because he led the team in charges taken. He also led the team in 50-50 balls. That's loose balls, diving for loose balls, getting rebounds, etc. He would just do everything possible to better the team. He put in countless time in the gym, working on his craft and becoming a better player. Did all the intangibles that you could possibly want in a player. One of my favorite players I've ever coached. Next, my most valuable player, my MVP. That is Miles Bigsby. He's a very explosive and dangerous player when he's in the best mood. He's a big difference maker, a pure athlete, and we don't win a lot of games without him. He was undoubtedly our top scorer in the team, putting up 4 separate games of 20-plus points, which is very impressive, and one of the top leaders in steals on our team, which led to a lot of our transition buckets. Back to buckets, whenever I needed one, I would draw up a play for Miles. And if you know Miles, he's always going to shoot the ball no matter what. Whether you're open, he's open in his eyes. I remember going back to the Downey tournament, talking with my good friend Tyler, who coaches the Downey team. He told me that kid belongs on JV. One day he's going to be an excellent varsity player. And I shook my head and I agreed with him. He's a very talented player, and I'm looking forward to his growth within this program. My next award I would like to give out is the Better Everyday Award. I believe this is the most important award there is because it's just the glue to the team. It's the standard player, the player you want to be, the player you look up to. And that player is Logan Petrovich. He's undoubtedly the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. He would practice 1 hour with JV before enduring 2 hours of my practices. He kept me in the gym late at night, always saying, "Coach, can I have 5 more shots? I'm ready to go home." He held the team in check, and he held himself in check, most importantly. He kept everybody accountable through their actions and mistakes, and he would be the first to let everybody know that he wasn't perfect. He was a great leader. Along with Brandon Kite, they were the team captains this season. He was a vocal leader on defense and on offense, and just the ideal player you would want to coach. He's someone very special. I remember an abrupt family emergency happened this year where I had to take some time away from the team. As much as it killed me, I was able to depend on Logan. He reached out to me for support, and he let me know and reassured me that he was going to get practice done for me. I remember one day I sent him a list of a practice plan, and he'd do it. And then after the practice was done, he would send me a recap about it. And I felt like that was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. That's my Better Everyday Award. I'm very proud to have coached him this year, Logan Petrovich. Lastly, I would like to thank first and foremost the head honcho himself, Coach Aaron Reichenberg, for continuing to trust me as a coach in the program and always helping me become a better version of myself, both as a coach and as a person. I would also like to thank my fellow colleagues, my brother JB, Coach Duran, Nick, Evan, and my first ever mentor, Coach Jesse Sanford. To all my sophomore parents who showed up to our games and gave our boys extremely loving support. To Lisa DeBruin for all she has done for me and the boys and being the best team mom you could ask for. And a quick thank you to our boosters and volunteers who helped with the tournaments and home games. Of course, our fearless Big Red leader, Toby Tyrant. And of course, the legend himself, how could I forget, Paul Luna, for all his efforts with photos, banners, programs, gear, and even editing this video banquet. Your efforts don't go unnoticed, brother. And also, a quick shout out to my little brother, Zaire Meza, for an amazing 4 years here at La Habra. I've seen you grow into such a hard-working and promising young man. I love you, and I love all you seniors. These are trying times and the future is at a standstill, but I will be praying for all of you every day and be waiting anxiously to get back into the gym and see you all again and get back to work. Until then, I love you all. Take care. Coach Chris, signing out.
Hey everyone, just want to start off by saying I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe, staying healthy, in good spirits, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all, hopefully sooner than later. There's a list of people I want to thank before talking about the season. I want to thank Coach R for giving me the opportunity to continue to do what I love. I don't take this position for granted at all, and I know how lucky and blessed I am to be able to do what I enjoy. And I couldn't have asked for a better mentor. He has taught me so much on and off the court that I'm just extremely grateful. So thank you, Coach, for the opportunity. I want to thank Coach Bobby, who has just been an unbelievable assistant for me. I hope he knows how much I have learned from him, and as well as him just making me overall a better coach. And I'm looking forward to working with him for years to come. I want to thank the parents for their support throughout the year, getting the kids to practices, especially those Saturday morning practices where I know it could be tough, getting them to the games, and just overall their support for the boys and me and Coach Bobby over the season. It means a lot to us. More specifically, I want to thank Nicole Owen, who was our team manager this year. Thank you, Nicole, for making my life a whole lot easier, for making sure everything's planned as far as team dinners go, practice times, making sure everyone's aware of those. If there's any changes to games or anything like that, you were on top of it. And again, thank you so much for making my life easier. I want to thank the players just in general for their effort and how much work they put in over the season. The season was full of up and down, and it didn't rattle them at all. They continue to put in the effort, they continue to work hard, and they continue to trust in me and Coach Bobby to be their coaches, which that's all we could ask for. So thank you guys for doing that. I want to thank my brothers, my brother Jacob for his support over the season, coming to games. If I needed some advice or if I needed a different point of view, where I can make adjustments, I was always picking his brain. So I thank you for your support, Jacob. My brother Jesse, who is our statistician, our bookkeeper. Every coach knows how lucky and blessed they are to have somebody that's on it and that does the stat book perfectly, because obviously we got to keep track of fouls, timeouts. But for me specifically, it was having accurate stats that I can go back and look at, especially when it came to league, to making adjustments to when we played that team again. So thank you, Jesse, for doing that for me this season. I want to thank my mom and dad for their support and love over this year. I stopped playing years ago, and yet they continue to come to my games and support me coaching and support the boys that are playing. And I could tell how much they love watching the kids play, and I know they're going to be doing this probably for a year and years to come. So thank you, Mom and Dad. Last but not least, I want to thank my beautiful girlfriend and our handsome son. Just thank you so much for your love and support over the year. Each and every single year, you allow me to do what I love and what I enjoy, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this without your support. I know how tough this year was. It was one of the first years where I started practicing more at night, and while it's more convenient for me and more beneficial for us as a team, I know that's not as convenient for you, and you were able to hold it down at home, take care of dinner, take care of Papa, put him to sleep. And without your love and support, I definitely couldn't be the coach or man I am today. So thank you so much, babes. Love you. When it comes to the season, like I mentioned before, a lot of ups and downs, but the thing I'm most proud of with this team was how resilient they were. In each and every single one of them overcame adversity at some point during the season. The hardest part for me as a coach was trying to develop team chemistry in a short amount of time. We had guys coming over from football. We had some players that were in different programs at school that would miss practice here and there. We had, in general, just new players to the basketball program, which was pretty tough. And it didn't get any easier facing some pretty tough competition at the beginning of the season. But the thing I'm most proud of with these boys was how well they improved throughout the year. That's something that Coach R preaches, as well as the rest of the coaching staff, is we challenge these boys to be better every day and to improve each and every single day. And I've never seen a team improve as much as this one did this year. You could really see how well we were playing around New Year's going into league. And then when it came to league, we had about 4 or 5 games where it came down to the last possession. And it was a few losses where we had by 3 points or less, which was tough, and if it would have went our way those games, then we could have been playing for first place at the end of the year. And that's just sometimes how the season goes. But one thing that I loved about this team was no matter if we're on the short end of a loss or we're able to pull one out, we were able to just focus on the next game and find ways to improve and get better each and every single day. And like I said, these boys were able to do that. And that's what I'm most proud of this team. And I know for a fact that each and every single one of them will have something to contribute to this basketball program going forward. From my first award, I want to talk about one of the most talented players I've had the privilege of coaching. This kid is crazy athletic, has such a unique skill set, and has one of the highest basketball IQs of a player that I've coached. What he was able to do for us this year was be that floor general that we needed. He would get defensive rebounds, be able to push the ball in transition, find open guys for easy buckets. He could create his own shot, attack the basket with ease, as well as create other opportunities for guys to score. I have no doubt in my mind that if this kid puts in the work, puts in the time, and will do whatever it takes to be great, he will be a future varsity starter. He will be a future Freeway League MVP, and no doubt in my mind, he will be an All-CIF player. My Offensive Player of the Year award goes to Marcus Works. For my next award, I want to talk about a player that every coach needs on their team. This player was our glue guy, kept the team together, and was one of our leaders. I believe he's just the definition of an ultimate teammate. He's going to do what the coaches ask of him. Doesn't care if he plays the whole game, doesn't play at all. He's going to support his teammates no matter what, and just going to contribute any way he can to help the team win. This kid is known for playing with so much energy, so much effort, and what I loved about him this year, though, was how much passion he played with and how much love he had for the game. If I could give a Defensive Player of the Year award, this kid would be taking that award at home too, but my Better Everyday award goes to Jackson Drinker. For my last award, I want to talk about a player that has so much potential and exceeded our expectations this year. But that wasn't the case at the beginning of the year. Me and Coach Bobby were a little bit worried about his shaky start and how that was going to translate the rest of the season. But midway through, this kid, something clicked for him. He was able to flip a switch and become the player we knew he was capable of being. We always knew he had a great offensive skill set, but we wanted to challenge him defensively and rebounding. And Coach Bobby made sure to do that every single minute of every practice, every game, until this kid got it, and he did. He was able to improve all areas of his game. And, I know how tough it is right now for him because he was ready to have such a big offseason and get ready to play at the varsity level. But I'm making sure I've been in contact with him, making sure he's staying in shape, staying in condition. I'm trying to get stronger in ways he can get stronger and be ready to go once this is all over and get back in the gym. Like I said before, this kid has so much potential and we're ready to see him reach that potential. Such a great teammate, such a good kid. And so our MVP award goes to Trino Arciaga.
Hey, Highlander basketball players of 2020. This is Mr. Eels, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to say congratulations. Congratulations on a year that for some was filled with some ups and downs, for others a lot more ups than downs, and as an overall program, a great year. It was an honor to be part of it this year and to be able to see all of you progress regardless of the level that you were at. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for our Highlander basketball program as we prepare to move into this next season. For our families, thank you. Thank you for your involvement. Thank you for the support. Oftentimes, we experience success in a program or programs, and oftentimes we forget that a large part of our success is due to our parent support. Thank you very much. For those of you that put in time and put in sweat and just dedicated yourself outside of the season as well as within the season to make this year of 2020 Highlander basketball successful. And for our seniors, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've brought to this program and to this campus for the last 4 years or however many years you've been here. Thank you for the guidance that you've provided to our younger Highlanders that are within the program as well as out on campus. Most importantly, thank you for being here every day, for being within a program and learning how to be disciplined and learning how to grow, win, and lose with dignity, integrity, and with great character. I am so excited to see what you will do after you graduate here, and I know that this is a completely out of the ordinary year on how you are ending the school year here as a senior. It'll be one that you never forget. So hopefully as you can look back even on this video years to come, you'll remember how much as seniors you impacted and meant to the Highlander family and our campus. Thank you again, and you guys have a great rest of the year. Take care.
All right, on to the season. Boys had a really good season, a really good year. Considering we graduated 11 seniors off a really talented team, most thought that this would be a rebuilding year. Boys didn't settle for that. Opened the year at the Rumble of Rosecrans, where we had pool play with Ayala and Warren High School, the team that knocked us out of CIF the year before. They returned a lot of their key players, including a Division I commit, and our boys jumped up for that challenge. Such great energy in that game. We beat them by 25 and went on to win our pool, and had a really good showing in a 24-team tournament. Later on in the season, played in the Orange Holiday Classic, a 16-team tournament, went on to the championship game, and just fell short to a private school, a really strong program, Crespi High School. Really close game, and just came up a little short, so finished second in a 16-team tournament. Then the league play, had an 8-2 league season. Usually an 8-2 season could win you a league championship. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the way it was this year. Had to be 9-1 or 10-0 to win league, and we weren't. But I'm really proud of again finishing second or better in a really tough freeway league, and then on to CIF. One of the toughest divisions outside of the open division this year. Most coaches argued that, and I would agree, top to bottom, it was a stacked Division II. We got to Soro in the first round on the road. Soro's an incredible program, really well coached, really talented. They won their league. So it was a real tough test. We were definitely the underdog in that matchup. And our boys, it's hard to describe how proud us coaches were of the performance they put on that night. It will go down as one of our biggest victories in our careers. Anytime you win a game in CIF, but on the road against a tough team like that, it was just a really, really gutty performance, and a game I will always remember this team by. That game also put us at 20 wins for the year to continue that streak in our program for 3 straight years, something we're really proud of. And then unfortunately we lost in the next round to Santa Clarita Christian, who went on to win CIF. So we did lose to the CIF champion. So yeah, just one heck of a year, 20 plus wins, competitive with a really tough schedule. Ended up having 4 all-league players. Kai Smith, second team all-league. Eric Howland, first team all-league. Dylan D'Amico, first team all-league. And Dom Pritchett, first team all-league. So 4 players to the all-league team. Great accomplishment, great season for our team. Really proud of our boys. Now on to our seniors. Obviously the senior class will hold a special place in all of our hearts on any high school campus, but in our program, they're always gonna have a special place with us. Heart goes out to all of our seniors. So sorry for what these circumstances are causing and affecting for your senior year. And we'll always be here for you. And want to, give a special shout out to all of them. And we'll start with Isaac Gomez. Isaac is an incredible young man, scholar athlete for 4 years, lettered in 3 different sports, so a multi-sport athlete. Unbelievable the kind of commitment that takes in the classroom and on the field or on the court. Starter on the football field, on the O-line, 2 years varsity on basketball, a track athlete as well. Always pushing in practice. Last 2 years helping our big men compete and develop, going up against Big Sammy last year and Dylan this year, pushing them to be better constantly, embracing his role. Just a great young man. It's no surprise, comes from an incredible family as well. And so, a big thank you to Isaac. The future is bright. I know he's been accepted to a lot of the colleges of his choice, including UCI, because of his great academics. And I'm really excited to see what happens next. So thank you, Isaac Gomez, for all you've given to our program.
All right, this next kid played a huge role in our success this year. He showed up every day, never complained once, did everything we asked of him, and as a coach, that's a dream. I mean, it's really hard to find selfless kids these days who, if they're not getting the minutes, they think they deserve, that they pout, or you can tell by their body language, and he never complained once. I don't remember him complaining once. I don't think the staff remembers him complaining once, and as coaches, you need guys like that to push players in practice. And I mean, he was extremely competitive. He has some game, definitely has some game, and he brought it in practice every day. He pushed our guys that were playing more minutes, and without guys like him, it can really affect the team chemistry. It can affect the practice habits. I mean, if guys aren't working their butts off in practice and pushing guys who play more minutes, then there's a trickle-down effect, and it affects us in big games. We're not ready for certain games. But like I said, he's extremely competitive, and he brought it every day in practice. And as a coaching staff, we couldn't have asked for more from him. He was with the program from start to finish. And when a lot of guys would have quit, he hung in there and he finished strong. And he was one of the most well-liked guys on the team. You could tell anytime he got in the game. And he did score, like everyone would go crazy. And that's just a testament to how well he was liked among his teammates and coaches. So with that being said, thank you for all of your hard work, and can't wait to see what you do in the future. This player is Zyrus.
All right, guys, so next senior we want to talk about, been a 2-year varsity player for us. Great kid on and off the floor, great sense of humor. I think his teammates and other coaches can attest to that as well. He put in a ton of work, working out, getting in shape, trying to get bigger, stronger, faster between his junior and senior season to take that next step. All over the floor, on the defensive end, he could play in the middle of our zone. He could play on the outside. His length, his athleticism, could contest shots and get boards on the defensive end. And then on the offensive side, sweet mid-range jumper, could use his athleticism and length to get to the bucket and finish over people. The only downside really to the game was when he went with the perm. And I think we can all agree that's something we don't need to see again. So with that being said, I want to recognize Chris Fowler on a great season and a great couple years with this program.
All right, this next award is the Better Everyday Award. So as coaches, we're looking for kids who are going to put in the extra work. We're looking for kids that are going to stay 10, 15 minutes after weight room and get up some more reps. The kids that are going to show up at lunch and get up some shots. On game days, they're going to be showing up early to school to get up shots or whatever it is. I mean, there's so many different avenues that they can put in the work. If they're hurt, they can sit on the bench and be dialed in and what the coaches are saying, the play calls, they're screaming out play calls. If they're at home, once they finish their homework, of course, they're watching game film, they're breaking it down, they're coming to us with questions. And I mean, in this day and age, a lot of these kids sadly just put in they put in the bare minimum. And so obviously we're looking for kids that go above and beyond, and this word kind of exemplifies that. And this kid, as a sophomore, he was a solid guy on the JV team. And I mean, we expected him to come up and to be a solid role player on varsity this year. But I mean, he made a huge jump in the fall, and he was getting so much better every single game. And then he had a huge injury, and kind of sidetracked his progress, but he worked his butt off and he put in the extra time. It was a big year of first for him. It was his first year on varsity. He started his first game. It was his first year as a captain. I think he's even got his first girlfriend now. So, I mean, this guy's it's been a big year for him. But unfortunately, injuries kind of have curtailed his season, and he didn't really get that momentum that he had from the fall. And even when he started getting it going this year, he had another injury towards the end of the year. But that didn't stop him from making a huge impact in the preseason and tournaments. And then in league, he had a huge game against Troy. He came off the bench and was ready to go. And he gave us the energy we needed in a tough road game environment. He came right off the bench, hit the glass hard, had a couple huge steals, a couple good big buckets. And I mean, that game was huge as far as finishing second in league. I mean, that was a big win for us. And this kid, like I said, he brought it every day, and he worked his butt off every day. And as coaches, I mean, he was a dream. And we're actually really excited that we get one more year with him. And we know he's going to put that much work in this off season and moving into next year. And I mean, I know Willie's a tough guy to replace, but if anybody's going to be able to replace or come close to replacing what Willie gave us, this is the kid. And he's in for a huge senior year, and can't wait to see what the future holds for him. Victor, this one's for you, buddy.
Our next award is the We Culture Award. Very important award for our program. Of course, you've heard me constantly talk about We Culture. When you talk about an offensive MVP, there's statistics that go along with that. Points, assists, field goal percentage. Defensive MVP, steals, deflections, charges, rebounds. The stat that goes with We Culture are wins. Every team can have a 15 point a game score, 20 point a game score, 25. Doesn't equal wins. There are teams that finish last in the league all over this county that have guys that can score 20 points a game. You don't win unless you have guys that are willing to give up their individual statistics and goals for the better of the team. And that's what this young man has done for us for 2 years running. At times, he could be the best player on the court. Could score 20 plus points a game just about any time he wants. Can blow by anybody. He's one of the most athletic guys out there. Yet, he picked his spots because a year ago, he had a really, really talented roster and ran point for us, made sure that our offense was running fluidly and sacrificed, what could be, double-digit points a game to make sure that we're winning games. And that's what he did for 2 years. In 2 years, he's won 46 games at the varsity level for us. In addition, and even more importantly, as a point guard for us for 2 years, he took more punishment from coaches than any other player. And what's important when it comes to that is that he understands that for the better of the team, the best player might have to take a lot of criticism and be able to handle it. If he gets frustrated or fights back, then some other players might do the same, and it can mess up the chemistry of a team. And this young man continued to take it well, and I have so much respect for him for that. So much love for this young man. Our We Culture Award for the 2019-2020 season goes to Dominic Pritchett. Congratulations.
All right, guys, so this next award goes to a player whose skill set allowed us to play the style of basketball that we had already been successful with over the last couple years. We like to slow teams down, have a presence down low with our zone, and then on the offensive side, we like to get out and run, get easy shots at the rim, take some deep threes here and there. This player liked to be physical down low, but he was also skilled enough to where he could hit his defenders with an old school sky hook that was fun to watch. What might have been more entertaining, though, was watching this kid bring his bigs away from the rim with his unlimited range. He may be soft-spoken off the court, but you would not know that from watching him knock down those long-distance daggers. His energy was amazing. He definitely made the game easier for his teammates on both sides of the floor. I'm going to miss that energy. But as an offensive-minded coach, it's my honor to present our Offensive MVP award to Dylan D'Amico.
Our next award is our Defensive MVP, one near and dear to my heart as a defensive coach. I firmly believe, along with our culture, the reason we are so competitive year in, year out is because of our focus on the defensive end. And this young man was definitely our MVP on that end. Played every position in our zone, up top, block, middle, the only guy on our team that could fill any position and step up. Super long, super competitive, tough, really made us go on that end. But he was so much more than that. In high school basketball, every year you graduate guys and you think about your new roster and who's going to step up into what role. And believe it or not, leading scorers, that's an easier role to fill than you would think. Each year we can think about who's going to step up, take more shots, and who's going to, be ready to score double digits. For this guy, I don't know who's going to fill that role. He, is such a unique player that I've ever coached or we've ever coached. He's just a winner. He could score 20 plus points a game. He did it. He was an MVP his first 2 years in our program. Could fill it up. So for those of you that just watched him this year, you might not know that. But that's just not what we asked of him this year. And he didn't, ever complain about it. Because we needed him to do the little things that not all high school players will do. Set good screens, move the ball, definitely make good reads as a second or third option in a play that we weren't going to get with maybe some other guys. He's just a winner and a competitor, and we are so sorry to see him go. And he's just an incredible young man, our captain. Willie Rosales, Defensive MVP, congratulations. Now on to our MVP. This young man had an incredible year. Give you some statistics. He averaged 15 a game, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Could easily have averaged over 20 plus a game. But as the year went on, teams were scouted. for us. And he had games where he was face guarded, box and one, double teamed. And instead of forcing shots, he knew that he had such talented teammates and, didn't get frustrated, still affected the game, still created, still made plays on the defensive end, and had some games where he deferred to, some of his talented teammates so that we were still getting some good shots on the offensive end. So he made things easier for his teammates with how teams had to guard him. With that, still had incredible performances throughout the year. Had 42 points in just 3 quarters of one of the games this year. Yes, I did not play him in the 4th quarter. And if I did, he probably would have scored 50 plus, maybe even 60. He was really feeling it that day. Wasn't just on the offensive end though. He was, really took the step in becoming a really solid defender. Combined for over 100 steals and deflections on the defensive end, which just creates so many more possessions for his team. Got dirty on the glass, just so many different levels where he affected the game. And we're really excited because he did that his junior year. And I don't think he's even come close to hitting the ceiling of his potential. So we're very excited to see what happens his senior year. Finished first team all league, finished all county by those who register. Our MVP, congratulations, Eric Howland.
Hey boys, let me start by saying I miss you guys, love you guys. Obviously this isn't the way we wanted to wrap up the season. We'd love to be doing this in person and catching up with you guys, but got to roll with the cards you were dealt and make the most of it. Obviously, you guys probably take for granted your family time in the past and you're probably sick of each other right now, but trust me, years down the road, you're going to remember these times, and it's really hard to get everyone together and to spend quality family time. So you're getting a lot of it right now, and trust me, enjoy it, embrace it, and work on your games in your free time. You have a lot of free time, whether it's going down to the park or watching film. There's lots of different ways, but you guys gotta make the most of this situation. I mean, everyone's going through their issues with this. Poor Coach R probably hasn't been able to scream at anybody for over a month, so imagine what he's going through. But so everyone has their issues and everyone has problems going through these times, but you guys got to make the most of them, and we'll all catch up soon, and can't wait to see you guys.
Hello, I'm Dylan. Even though my time was short at La Habra, I still was able to make many great memories. One of those memories was going to Westmont and spending time with my teammates. I'm going to miss all the late nights and food fights we had over there. Another memory I'm going to miss are the burpees because of us not talking or because of missed layups. I want to thank Coach R for pushing me to the best of my ability, and I want to thank my teammates for accepting me for having a great year. I plan on playing college ball.
These past 4 years have been the best 4 years of my life, and I want to thank all of you for that because you all played a role in it one way or another, so thank you. It wasn't until high school basketball that I figured out what basketball was really about. Before then, I thought it was about going to some sports facility to get a trophy at the end of each weekend. But I realize now that it's more than just going out winning games for a trophy. It's about pushing each other in practice to make us the best players that we could be, and coming together off the court and pushing each other to be the best people that we could be. The first sense of family that I got was my freshman year. After a pretty bad loss to Whittier. Our season hadn't been going the way we wanted it to, so we were all pretty frustrated. And after Coach was done talking about the game, one of the kids walks out, and I just figured he probably got dressed pretty quick and left. But everyone else was like, dude, he was talking about quitting. I'm like, he wasn't being serious though, there's no way. And they're like, I don't know, man, he sounded pretty serious. And I'm like, all right, where'd he go? And they all said, yeah, he's walking home. Said he's not coming back. And I'm like, all right. So then I go out and I'm trying to find him. And I find him walking home through the parking lot. And I catch up to him. And I'm trying to convince him to stay. I'm like, come on, man, we need you for the season. Come on, we can't do this without you. And he starts crying, and then I start crying, and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry I quit on my family and on my team. I'm like, it's all right, man, just come back. We need you. Come on, can't do this without you. So we all show up to practice the next morning 30 minutes early to talk about what needs to change in order for our season to go the way we wanted it to. Our season didn't end up going too well. We went 2-8, but that was the first time I really got a sense of what basketball is really about. It's about pushing each other in practice, making sure that we become the best player that we could possibly be. And it's about like coming together and holding each other accountable off the court, making sure that we're the best person that we could possibly be. I've gone to a few of the lower level practices, and every single time they all remind me of that sense of pushing each other in practice to be the best. And it's just amazing to see. I want to thank each and every one of you because you've all made me the player and the person that I am today. So thank you.